CyberGolf lessons.
The proper grip is the key to the golf swing.
Getting in that proper position.
Okay, so the slicer. The slicer, we've talked about this swing plane, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this into the ground just for just to help us with this. This is my swing plane. So the slicer would get over here on the way down. Okay, and even worse is the club would be outside his hands. Now what I mean by that, and hopefully I get this right on the angle in the video, that club now is on top of my hands. So when that club's coming down, it's on top of my hands. If it's outside my hands, you're in deep trouble. You're slicing the ball and probably not hitting it very far. And the club is steep. So steep and the club outside, you're in trouble. You can be somewhat steep and still have the club coming over your hands. Okay? But the club steep and outside your hands is a big, big killer. So what does that do to the release? What does that do to the hands? Well, whenever you get that club, I'm going to do a different angle here. Whenever you get that club outside your hands, and you can see it's outside now, what that does is it tightens everything up on your leading side. It puts you in a position where you can't release the club. I can't release that club now back into myself. So what I'm forced to do with that club way outside my hands is kind of get out of the way, hold on. Now this thing's in my way. Get it out there. You have to get the side out of the way, and you have to hold on. Everything's going to be very tight here, very firm. And you're going to hold on, and that glove is going to be on top. You're going to be tucked into your side, and you're going to have a very abbreviated back or follow through. That's what's happening. So let's go through that from different angles. From this angle, you won't be able to see the club outside, but you'll be able to see what the other things are going on with the body. So the club is outside my hands. I'm forced to move this side of my body, bring the club back to myself, as it was so far outside the ball. Bring it back to. I'm tucked into my body, the glove's on top, and I've got this really abbreviated follow through. Okay, let's do it from this angle. That club gets outside my hands. I'm forced to move this side. I've got to bring the club back into the golf ball, so it's moving towards me. I got to move this side out of the way, and there's that abbreviated follow through. From this angle, club's outside. I've got to move my body out of the way. I got to come back to the golf ball. I'm stuck. My arms are stuck inside because the club's out there, and I've got to move it back in, and there's that abbreviated follow through. Okay, now I got one of my students up here, and we're going to have a look here. This gentleman does slice the ball, so we're going to see on the downswing that his club is very steep. And if you look very closely there, you'll notice that his club was well outside his hands. And from the other angle, we're going to see that the glove never gets underneath. We never see it underneath. Therefore, there's never a full release. So the club gets outside his hands, and we're going to see the glove will stay on top throughout the follow through. And you can see how tight his swing is in the follow through. Okay, so that's what's going on with the slice move. Where does it start? It could be a mental thing. It could be a setup thing. There's so many areas where it could have started that I can't begin to go into all of them. But that's what the slice move is. I'm going to try to hit a shot with the slice move. Now, I got to tell you, this really isn't my cup of tea. I don't try this very often. I don't do it. So, but let's see if we can see what happens. I'm going to deliberately try to get that club out there. So what I've got to do, at the top of my backswing, I've got to start throwing the club with my hands. It's tricky. I don't honestly know if I can do it, but I'll try. Yeah, well, the ball's gone, and I believe I got it outside my hands, and it yanked my body across. I had to get my body, I had to pull my body out of the way quickly because the club, it felt like it was coming back towards me. But it didn't slice, so I'm not 100% sure where it really went, the club. I'm going to try one more time. So I'm trying to come up here, I'm trying to get that club out there and bring it back towards myself. And this, 9 times out of 10, will produce a slice. Let me try it again. Woo! Yeah, certainly it went right dead off the toe over that way.
Okay, so we're just going to have a look here. I put the reference line in. So it's a very awkward move for me. We're going to see that the club is very steep on the way down. And you see how I get up my tippy toes, too. It's a move to get out of the way of the golf club. And we're going to see on the follow-through that it's very steep again. So not a good swing.
So that's a move I really don't want to practice anymore, so I'm going to just stop that one. Okay, so let's, we've talked about the release. Now let's talk about the other side, the player who hooks the ball a lot.